We got some new Transformers reveals, and it didn't even happen on Transformers Tuesday. So we're going to get right into it because I haven't made a video in a while. And we've gotten a ton of Transformers leaks recently, whether it's like pretty much half of everything that's going to be coming in 2027, packaging refreshes, and exclusives. So we're going to wait on the leaks. I think I've decided to wait on the leaks because usually once they start leaking, we get them all in like a week or two. We'll get pretty much the year's worth of leaks, even though the leakers that get the information always say that they're going to stop and this is going to be the last year that they do it, but then they do it again the next year. So it's this fun cycle of we get leaks, people complain about the leaks, and the leaker doesn't want to leak anymore, but then the leaker ends up leaking again. So it's a revolving cycle. So we're going to talk about the actual reveals that happened today, even though it's Monday. It's not Transformers Tuesday yet, if that was even ever a thing. And they're kind of disappointing. Starting with the Studio Series stuff. If you followed my channel since like a decade ago, you know I'm a huge fan of the Transformers movies, the live action movie stuff. And ever since Studio Series 86, they've taken a huge break from the live action stuff. We still get a couple figures a year, just to fill in the gaps like Q, Jolt, stuff like that. But we haven't gotten a ton of movie stuff. And I feel like we're getting to the point in Studio Series where a lot of those early Studio Series live action figures could be remade and improved. Specifically, like Lockdown could really be improved. Just stuff like that. To start, we have Transformers 1 Thundercracker. I was a fan of Transformers 1. I liked it. But the designs didn't really do anything for me. This is an easy pass. But I will give this credit. It looks way, way better than that Starscream that came out. The colors pop so much more. The head with the visor looks so cool. I'm surprised this is like the first time we've seen Seekers with a visor. It looks amazing. And then, but we knew this was coming. Like this was in leak list for so long. And this one's, I think Thundercracker is going to show up really soon. Then he's also coming with Transformers 1 Soundwave. And I think this is a pretty cool Soundwave design. The head is really, really cool. It's weird seeing Soundwave at a deluxe. Like he looks so small in robot mode. Because I find this design is kind of similar to the Bumblebee movie design. And I have the Bumblebee movie Voyager. I like it. And this is, I want to say it's a similar take to that. The robot mode looks cool. It just looks kind of small. And then the alt mode looks kind of like a lot of nothing. And I liked Siege Soundwave's alt mode. I thought him being like a spaceship with a big, almost like a Star Warsy spaceship was a cool idea. And then I don't hate the Bumblebee movie alt mode. It wasn't the greatest, but I don't hate it. And then this is pretty lame. It just kind of looks like, it doesn't really look like anything. And I think that's the problem. So, but we kind of knew that's what we were getting because they now make Soundwave Cybertron mode just kind of a floating thing. So if you're just going to display in a robot mode, which 90% of collectors are, it's fine. I think it's good. Onto the leader classes. This one was a huge disappointment and made me feel like a total idiot because I sold off my Rise of the Beast Scourge anticipating this one was going to have a more accurate head. Because this Scourge that released in 2023 was based off of the concept art. They changed like Scourge's design a little bit closer to the movie. So this one has a more inaccurate head, more inaccurate neck, and even the proportions around the chest and the shoulders aren't super accurate. And a lot of people were speculating that this was going to be the same mold, just retooled a little bit, new head, maybe some other little tweaks to make it more screen accurate, but they didn't do that. And it is so disappointing to me that we're getting this inaccurate figure in Studio Series, which prides itself on screen accuracy. And there were so many easy ways that they could have improved this. I know most of the budget probably went to the 2 live action figures we're going to be talking about in a second, and I guess Soundwave would have eaten a lot of the budget. Thundercracker is just a repaint with a new head, but like, I know they're still doing a lot of packaging refreshes, even though they said a year ago that they weren't going to be doing as many. This is just so disappointing to me because I wanted a Scourge with a proper head, but we didn't get that. So the only way this can redeem itself for me is if the smokestacks are stiffer. Because if you have this figure from the first release, you'll know that the smokestacks on his back never stay upright. They always end up sagging and falling down. So if they can improve that, I'll be happy. But I am so disappointed it doesn't have the new head. Like, come on, Hasbro. And also, he's mistransformed in the box, and he's mistransformed in a lot of the stock images. But oh well. And then what I was hoping was going to be the best part is the live action, the Age of Extinction live action, I'll say. Evasion mode Optimus Prime is disappointing to me. I know a lot of people are probably going to say that. And I don't know, they had so much time to do a new Evasion mode Optimus Prime. They didn't do it. They didn't do one until now. And the proportions are totally off. Like, he's got huge feet, insanely wide chest. And it's just so weird when you think about the 2014 Voyager. Yeah, the 2014 Voyager had weird shoulders or weird elbows. But other than that figure was really, really good. The mainline release colors were not accurate at all, but they were a bunch of recolors of it. So this is just interesting. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that the backpack is mistransformed. That's why it looks so huge. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little funky looking, and I don't think the colors are accurate either, because the truck in the movie, the flat nose truck that he turns into, it is like browny gray, very dark colored. But then when we see Optimus in robot mode in the movie, he is still red and blue. It's just a really rusty, dirty, rusty and blue. Like it is really faded, and I see what they were doing here. So I feel like they're close, but I feel like the blue and probably the red is still just a little bit too bright. But I will say, like, they did looks like some battle damage tooling on the front of the truck. He's got like the bullet holes from, just like he did in the movie. So that's cool. The gun is cool. I hope it's just the stock photos that make him look weird. Because in the box, he looks okay. But then on the back of the box, he looks horrible. So I don't know what to believe. We got to see more in-hand photos. I'm sure it's not going to be that bad in person. But I just hope this doesn't share any tooling with the upcoming 07 Optimus. It shouldn't, because that one's going to be a leader class. We know that. But this is just, I don't know, it's kind of lackluster. I probably wasn't going to get an Evasion mode Optimus anyway. Because I try and limit myself with how many versions of the same character I have. So I wasn't going to get this anyway. It's just meh. And then if we go to Bumblebee, here we have one that I'm surprised they didn't do when Studio Series started, because all the way back in Wave 1 of Studio Series, they gave us a Stinger. And this was the first time we had a deluxe Stinger that transformed into his accurate alt mode, which is the Pagani Huayra. Because we did get a Stinger that transformed into a Pagani, but it was the one-step changer. The deluxe Stinger that Takara did was just a straight-up Bumblebee repaint. I'll give Hasbro and Takara props. They didn't just do a Stinger repaint this time. But again, this is a little weird, and I feel like the alt mode is amazing. The alt mode is really, really accurate, and it looks just like the 2014 deluxe Bumblebee that I can, as far as I can remember. Like, the alt mode looks perfect. I'm sure you could ask for a little bit more paint, maybe, but it's current budgets. What can you do? And then you go into robot mode, and it's strange. So you look at the chest. I think the chest is fine. Could it use more paint? Yes. Torso, same thing. Could it use more paint? Yes. The arms are a little bit more paint. Like, yeah, whatever. The head is good. I wish it had the battle mask feature, because if you had the 2014 Deluxe, you'd know that you can fold the forehead down and give him a little bit of a battle mask. But I was even hoping for, I don't know, maybe an alternate face with the battle mask, because I love his Age of Extinction battle mask. And then the legs are so ugly, like it's so chunky, and the toe part of his foot is so tiny, and it's just like elephant trunks of parts. I know the Age of Extinction designs are hard for Optimus and Bumblebee. Like, they don't translate to vehicles very well. They're very humanoid in robot mode, and it is a really challenging thing to design. Like, how do you take a Camaro and turn it into this robot, which is based on Stinger, and Stinger doesn't even transform. He cheats transformation. But I don't know. There's just something about this. The legs look huge. Like the recently released 86 Windcharger had a beautiful way of folding up the legs, had an amazing way of folding up the legs, just like our Transformers Prime Viacon. But this one, no, it's really weird, really weird. The arm cannon is good. It looks like it plugs on a little bit too high, but it's cool. We're finally getting that claw weapon. The old Bumblebee just had like a flip out cannon. Another interesting thing is the wheels on the back. It's accurate to his design, but his design had more like Ninja Stars almost, like really spiky wheels on his back. And these are just the normal wheels. So that's one way it's not accurate. I'm hoping you can take the lower wheels and kind of fold them upwards to hide them a little bit better. Stinger came with 4 like spiky circles that you just plugged onto ports on his back, and I thought that was a really great way to deal with that. But unfortunately, this Bumblebee is not going to do that. So it's accurate and it's inaccurate. And I know, like I said, it's a really hard thing to do. So props to the designers for pulling it off. But it just comes out as kind of, yeah. I think I'm going to get it because I only have the Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, and my Autobot shelves are split into 2. I have Transformers 1 to 3 Autobots, and then I have Transformers 4 and 5 Autobots. And my 4 and 5 Autobot shelf doesn't have a Bumblebee, so I think this would look great there. But I do think they could have done a little bit better. And maybe if the budget was a little bit higher, they could have done a bit better. But what can you do? It's what we get. Maybe we'll get a Takara Redeco in 10 years that looks fantastic, but we'll have to wait and see. Now on to the Age of the Primes Jetfire. So I have to admit, I'm too young to really be into the Unicron trilogy. But I have seen Armada. I watched it about a year ago. It was my favorite out of the Unicron trilogy. I really liked it. And this is a really cool idea. Like, you have Jetfire, who obviously is going to combine with Optimus Prime. It's on the side of his box. Everybody has figured that out so far. And he comes with the Space Minicon team, who formed the Requiem Blaster. So I'm not sure their names. I don't remember their names offhand. They look okay. I feel like the modern Minicons Hasbro's done are just okay. Like, they're doing what they need to do, but they're not doing any steps above. Oh. That's cool that this is an easy way to get the Minicons. But where this falls flat is there's no... Jetfire doesn't come with his Minicon, just like every other Armada figure they've done at this point, except for like the exclusive Hot Rod. No one has come with their Minicons, and I feel like a lot of collectors are getting really, really annoyed with that. Like, I think he should have come with his Minicon, but I'm sure the budget was stretched enough with everything that Jetfire had to do, because he's got to have strong ratchets to become the legs of the Super Mode Optimus Prime. But the Jetfire looks honestly not that different from his original toy from what I can tell. Like, obviously it's different, but it's still really chunky. A lot of people really like the chunky robots. I was kind of hoping he'd look a little bit more animation accurate, but if you want, because he seems a little bit more slim in the animation. But if you want that animation accurate, you'd have to probably sacrifice the combined mode. And that's something I know a lot of collectors wouldn't want, myself included. So I think they did a great job, and it looks good. I'm going to pass on this because, again, not super attached to Armada. I passed on Prime. But I would expect a Armada Optimus Prime packaging refresh in the near future to go along with this. And yeah, so I'm sure Armada collectors are happy. The box art looks amazing. We were going through a little bit of a dark time with box art. I felt like the Constructicon Commander Class box art was horrible. That one really sucked. And then Onslaught's was just like okay. But this one looks really, really good. So a lot of the Age of the Primes packaging has been boring, in my opinion. Hopefully this changes this a bit. This is exciting. This is fun. Yeah, it's still so weird to me that they don't have, like, also available Commander Class Optimus Prime, and he combines with Commander Class Optimus Prime. I know they want to make it so that kids don't feel like they have to buy multiple toys sold separately, but I feel like it's a smart thing to include. Like, this and the Armada Sideways box, it's like, just throw that in there. It's just, because if people don't know, they don't know. But whatever, I'll rest my case. And I think that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to make another video going over packaging refreshes. I'm sure if you guys are as big into Transformers, if you're big enough into Transformers to watch this channel, you probably already know what they are, and they're really weird choices for some of them. And I want to talk about that in another video. And we have exclusives, and we have a list of even more rumored figures coming out next year. But like I said, we might see them in a couple days, we might see them in a week, we might see them in a month. Like, leaks come left and right, and it's leak season. So let me know what you guys think below. Do you think they did good with these new live action movie figures, or do you think they kind of suck? Let me know.